Hey, this tutorial is supposed to show you how you can capture 360 screenshots and videos in Unity. In order to start, as it's virtual reality, what you need to do is first set up Unity so that it supports virtual reality functionality. To do that, you actually go into the build settings to get to the player settings. And you don't necessarily need Oculus drivers or the Oculus SDK, whatever is SDK for that. It works without it because some of the stuff is already implemented in Unity. In the player settings that you can also reach via project settings, you can turn virtual reality supported on. It doesn't matter if you have an Oculus SDK. I have one, as you can see here, but it works without it. If you run into problems, let me know, because the instructions basically say it should work without it. So now let's assume I want to shoot a 360 screenshot so I can post it on Facebook and you basically can explore the scene. What you need is a plugin. I tried several plugins that are available in the Asset Store. Most of them are for free. The one that I was happiest with is Capture Panorama, a small free plugin that really is very easy to use. It's not entirely there yet. I feel there are a couple of functions that don't really work, and the documentation is quite elaborate for the setup, but a lot of the functions that it has are not really well explained. That's why I'm doing this tutorial. So there are a couple of things here that work really well, and I will show you how to use those. So the first thing that you need to do is find in your scene your main camera, or the camera that you use for your character or whatever. In my case, it's the standard FPS controller and the camera child of that. Then you create an empty game object and you name that whatever you like, just to find out, just to be able to find it later. I call it 360 camera capture, and then you just put the capture camera script onto that empty game object that is attached here as a child to the first person character camera. Panorama name is the name of the file that we will save. The quality settings are one of the things that are not really well explained. I tried with a couple of numbers, a couple of values in there, but it really didn't make a difference. Then we have capture key, which is basically the key that you press to capture the shot. Image format, I recommend JPEG because of smaller file size. Capture stereoscope, I will explain later. These settings are for resolution and image quality. You can keep them at default. They're also explained in the README. Anti-alias and SSAA factor are for anti-alias, of course. SAA factor is definitely only used with deferred rendering. And then we have save image path. That will be the path where you obviously save the screenshot automatically. So I recommend doing it not in the project files, because then Unity starts importing them and that can take quite some time. So I create a 360 folder on my desktop. I copy the path, the location, and then in Unity I go back and just simply copy that path into save image path and add the 360 folder name to it. Save cube map I will explain later. Upload images didn't really work. You can upload the images allegedly and insert metadata, but that didn't work. If it works for you, tell me. Use default orientation, I will explain later. And GPU transform needs to be turned on. Capture every frame is for video grabbing. You can video grab with this tool. It's a tedious process, but it looks really cool. Yeah, so frame rate and maximum frames to record basically gives you the quality and the length of the video later on. The rest is set up for fading colors and basically the plugin's UI effects. Okay, So let's take our first shot, go into play mode with everything set up, and then basically you pick the spot that you want to record in. So in my scene I now walk to my new boiling magma particle effect because I want to take a cool shot of it and find a good viewpoint. Yeah, that should do it. And then I adjust the camera so that I'm on the level with the horizon, otherwise your image would be a little bit tilted. So as you can see, it fades out to black while it takes the screenshot, and now in the folder that I just don't need this, in the folder that I just created, I can find the 360 image file, which is not 360 able right now. We need to do something else with it, but I'll get into that later. Okay, so let's take a look at the next function. Capture stereoscope. That is for stereoscope imagery if you need it. I've never really found any use for it, to be honest. But just to show you how it works, same thing. And now it takes basically two different images that are slightly different and packs them, stitches them together into one image file. That's why it takes a little bit longer. Also, when you change the SSAA or anti-alias factors, you will find that recording the image takes a little bit longer, and in some cases significantly longer. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and this is just a standard laptop, so maybe on more high-end systems this will go a little bit faster. Okay, let's hope this thing is done before I start. Yeah, here we go. Otherwise I would have started to sing, and you wouldn't, trust me, you wouldn't like that. So let's take a look. So here you can see the one image that basically consists of the two shots that the capture software just took. And okay, so save cube map, a very interesting function. This is one where you need the files in your Unity project, because what you can do here is basically take a screenshot of any scene you are in and create a cube map out of it. So you can generate a skybox out of your in-game landscape and use that in your game. Or you can create reflection cube maps for reflective materials and use them in your game. So let's say you want to have a really low impact reflection that looks realistic on a teapot in your game, in a room in your game. You can use this technology to this plugin to create a really well working setup for that reflection based on a cube map. So let's take a look at how that works. This is the original shot of the 360, but below that you can see the 6 different images that you would need for the cube map, 6-sided cube map. So Capture Panorama saves those 6 images for you, and I've done that before, so I have already imported them. I didn't want you to sit through the importing stuff right here. And these 6 now I can use to create a skybox material. So go to create material and then change the shader to skybox, yeah, 6-sided. And then what you need to do is in every slot, front, back, left, right, and so on, you need to add those newly generated images. One thing you need to be aware of, it says on the image positive X, positive Y, and negative Y, and you can see those plus and minus that in the image itself, in the shader itself. They are exactly opposite. So you need to put the positive X into the negative X in the actual slot in the material. Okay, and then you just can use that skybox, put it into lighting, and try it out. I'll go back to the default here, because it just simply looks better. But it's a really, really cool function. Very helpful. So let's turn that off. And I don't use default orientation. I used it just to make sure that the angle of the image and the horizon is not tilted. So let's take a look at capturing video footage. So turn capture every frame on and set maximum frames to 30. So with a frame rate of 30, I would record 1 second of footage now. And this is the reason why I save these images not inside the Unity project folder, because let's say you record a minute, then you have basically 30 times 60 images that Unity needs to import, and that takes a while. So pick a good spot, hit P, and now you can see that the performance really drops because Unity records now 30 frames per and one frame, one image per frame. So 30 frames it records images now, and I turned default orientation off so I can move the camera around just to show you that that is also possible. Don't do it because the recording is really taking a punch. The performance is taking a punch when it does this type of recording, and the movement can be very jerky. So if you want to make the guys that see your 360 video absolutely seasick, then this is definitely the way to do it. But otherwise, what you will get out of this is a 360 video that is animated. So recording is done. Let's take a look at what that looks like. 360. And here you can see the separate frames that are 360-degree images that you now need to stitch together in Movie Maker or whatever you use to generate your video files out of separate frames. And then you have your 1 second 360 video. Again, it's not usable by Facebook. For that, you actually need to insert metadata. This is a tool that I downloaded and that's available for free from YouTube, Spatial Media Metadata Injector. The metadata that you inject into this image or the video, this one is for video, is something that tells Facebook or YouTube that this video that you upload is supporting 360 functionality, and you need to have this metadata in order to make it work. The same is true for 360 photos. Yeah, so there are tools to do that as well. You could do that online with a converter. What I use is Meta 360 on my Android phone. It's an app, and it injects metadata into that. Once that's done, you can upload the videos or the panorama photographs into Facebook, and it will automatically use them as a 360 video or image with all that functionality that you should know by now. Okay, definitely turn capture every frame on, just to make sure that next time you don't generate a whole bunch of new images, which can be pretty tedious. Cool, I hope you like this. Let me know if you have any questions. You can reach me via those channels, and have a good time. Bye bye.